cuts to public broadcasting won't just hurt communities' access to local news and education, but as you heard, it's going to cut critical funds for rural television and radio stations like WNMU in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, WKAR in Lansing, and more, that provide emergency alert services during disasters and public safety situations. They're often the only folks that do that, particularly in rural America. Earlier this year, WCMU out of Mount Pleasant, Michigan, saved lives when it stepped up to coordinate emergency information during a catastrophic ice storm in Michigan. When commercial towers went down, this is not a luxury, but it's a fundamental public responsibility. Public broadcasters are the backbone of emergency alerting, but I've heard from Michigan broadcasters, especially those in rural areas, that they may not survive if these cuts go through. That could mean no emergency alerts for over 250,000 residents in the Upper Peninsula alone, not to mention the thousands more in northern Michigan, mid-Michigan, or the Thumb. So Director Vought, I just need a yes or no answer to this question. Were you fully aware of the emergency alert function that public broadcasters play when recommending eliminating these funds in the rescissions package?
Senator, certainly aware of the extent to which public broadcasting has an impact on these communities, and it's our view is that to the extent that it has been politicized, we have a real problem in this country. You said something earlier which you said was misstated. We did not impound funds in January. We have not impounded funds yet. It certainly wasn't as a result of the malicious compliance that was conducted with regard to the freeze memo that you were referring to. So I think it's important that the record reflect that.
Well, we're seeing, Mr. Vought, thank you. We're seeing you're holding funds. You're holding funds that have been appropriated by Congress that's not going out. Communities and others are being hurt.
We're conducting a programmatic
answer
review.
The emergency. I would like you to answer the question that I asked. Are you aware about the emergency alert function and how critical that is in rural America? Is that
certainly aware of the extent to which public broadcasting performs a host of different purposes, and we continue to have major
emergency broadcasting,
and we continue to maintain funding for other programs. One of them, which includes a FEMA for this type of work and this type of service.
You know, FEMA can't do it all. That's where it's pretty clear what's happening here. So how are you going to fill the budget backholes? How are these people going to be able to get that information? Do you have a plan for that?
We believe that we have put forward a very reasonable proposal. We've maintained the fiscal year 25 funds that are already obligated to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Maybe they should get a sense for the degree to which Congress and the President is moving against that funding and not fund as much NPR and PBS. The political program that is underway, in which we are saying here, Senator, in 2022, NPR ran a feature titled "What Queer Ducks Can Teach Teenagers About Sexuality in the Animal Kingdom."
That's not the question, Mr. Vought.
In 2020, PBS show Sesame Street partnered with CNN for a town hall aimed at preventing racism in the Black Lives Matter riots.
Could you show a little bit of respect here?
I'm happy to, but you continue to misstate things and ask the same question.
I don't need you to answer questions that I'm not asking. Please. I'm trying to be as civil as I can, and that's who I am. But I don't expect to have a witness that behaves as you do. It's really disrespectful. But it's certainly understandable given the types of activities. I have another question for you. The Impoundment Control Act only permits the president to refuse to spend the funds proposed for rescission for up to 45 days. If Congress does not approve a rescission package, the president then must release the funds to be spent on these critical projects. So my question for you, sir, and this is the question I'd like to have answered. Do you commit that if Congress does not pass a rescission bill to cancel these funds, that the administration will then release them so that they can be spent?
Yes, if Congress does not pass this $9.4 billion rescission, we will release the funds for this multi-year package.
Very good. Thank you, Madam President. Or Madam Chair.
Senator Fisher, who has been the most patient member of the committee today, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.